welcome to SDI Supercars NZ. It's round 9 at Barber Motorsport. Greg, how are you?
Yeah, good to see you, Dana. Nice to be here for bound to be another exciting round of this championship. Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama. 3.83 kilometres of motorcycle track predominantly, punctuated by some tight chicanes and some long sweeping curves. Good camber throughout the track, so I expect to see these guys trying to get on the gas early, but if you dip wheels into the grass, you're going to come unstuck pretty quick. Round 9 sees the return of some of our series protagonists, Darren Lobb, Matt Stevens, Mike Taliansich, and Kyle George making his first appearance this season, being last year's champion. So good to see a few guys back after a week off last week.
Yeah, good to see Kyle back in the pace, but let's go to Darren Lobb's race hot lap. I'll leave you with it.
Yeah, so Darren coming out of the last corner here as he tries to get a clean run onto that start finish straight. You can see him using all the curve on the right hand side, getting right up to the 6th gear briefly before dropping it down a couple of gears into this left-hander into an area called the Alabama roller coaster, where you get down to 2nd gear just to get that nose turned in, and then the road drops away from you on the left hand side, but you get good grip on the exit, up over the curve, and then off down the first straight. Hard on the brakes, into a tricky left-hander here. There's almost 3 apexes to this corner. You can't see them on the left-hand side, but he'll be keeping that in nice and close to get maximum drive onto the 2nd straight here. Into the first chicane. It's a bit of a tricky one. You've got to avoid that curve on the right-hand side. You can take a big chunk of the left-hand curve, and then you're trying to get that thing stopped on a downhill to get maximum drive out onto this next straight. You've got plenty of time to think about the chicane coming up, using curves both on the left and the right hand side. Very easy to dip wheels into the grass onto the left there as you come into this final back section of track. Down through the gears, into 3rd gear to get this thing turned in, up into 4, this long sweeping right hander. You can see Darren taking 5th gear here as well. And the road just keeps turning here, so very hard to get the car pulled up. It wants to lock wheels into the final right-hander, and then back left onto that start-finish straight. That is a lap of Barber Motorsport Park.
Awesome, and now we're coming up to the starting grid with our pole position. Darren Lobb taking 1st, followed closely by Jamie Stolvard.
Kyle George in 3rd position. And Matt Stevens making a comeback after a week off last week.
James Anderson in 5th, our winner from last week, followed closely by Mike Taliansich.
And we've got Mike Robinson in the Robinson electrical car, and Dion DeGraaf in 8th position.
Ricky Royer taking 9th, followed by Daniel Hederscheid in 10th.
11th is Nash in the Megan Turbo Holden, and Kevin West.
Reinsberg in 13th, followed by Scully in 14th.
15th position is Simon Hederscheid in the fully floored Commodore, and Kircher in 16th position.
Lamont takes 17th, and Jury in 18th place.
19th is Wayne Van Biljon. 20th, Tony Lynch.
Got Peter Brown in 21st, and Greenog in 22nd.
Bruce Tannock in 23rd position, and Steve Darren in the SDI Commodore 24.
McLeod takes the 25th, followed by O'Loughlin in 26th.
Nick Bakey in the K&N Mustang in 27th. Needler in 28th.
Swinney 29th, followed by Childs in 30th.
31st position on the grid sees Whiteman and Wayne Bloor in 32nd.
33rd is Gill, followed by Isherwood in 34th.
Last row sees Kilgow in 35th and Mitch Sparrow in 36th. Unusual to see him so far back on that grid. An extended grid for this round 9 clash at SDI Supercars NZ here at Barber Motorsport Park. Let's get ready for the start.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to fly into the start here, and it's pretty much green light. Engines are up, and they're off. Darren Lobb leads.
First couple of rows getting away cleanly there. You see Taliansich looking to make a move early. And it's Stovall and Lobb picking up where they left off a couple of weeks ago. Kyle George right up there, closer behind. Great to see him back into the championship this round after taking out last season. And along with Matt Stevens, who was missing at Long Beach last week as well.
Yeah, there's been some couple of pile-ups in the starting off the grid. We're just going to shoot back and check out some of the action as these front runners take over the racetrack. Darren Lobb, Jamie Stolvard, Paul George, and looking back on the replays, there's a bit of carnage in the background.
McLeod, looks like a couple of cars coming together.
Darren contacting Jury.
Massive hit at the side there.
That's pretty much the end of my race in the first corner. Car with major injuries.
Keep an eye on McLeod here. Looks like he shoots across to the right hand side, unfortunately. Greenhill moving over to the left, so those cars wouldn't have seen each other. That's just set off a chain reaction.
Yeah, quite a few cars, half a dozen cars involved
caught
there.
Up in that as well. Yeah.
Craziness.
Back to the front. Top four cars, nice and close together. Darren Lobb leading the way. You can see Stovall getting a little bit wide on the curve there, just picking up a bit of the grass. He's lucky not to turn that around. It's very easy to do when you catch the grass in these cars. Although I got to say, Dana, it's nice to have grass on the side of the track rather than walls after last week at Long Beach.
Yeah, Long Beach is definitely carnage on the sides of the liveries there. So there's plenty of runoff and opportunity to get back on track and actually maybe even not lose spots. I know there's a couple of corners which unstick a couple of guys.
Yeah. Cars just starting to work their way into single file now, which is good. You expect to see that around lap 2, lap 3. And guys starting to get into a groove, starting to think about where the strengths and the weaknesses are of the car in front, where they might look at making a move. You can see Mike Robinson getting as far over to the right hand side, just poking his nose up the inside here of Anderson. He's kept that in nice and tight. Both cars getting good drive out of that corner and off over this bumpy part of the track on the way down to the first chicane.
Yeah, it's an interesting section through here, really having to take that curb on the left as much as you can, try to keep the car in straight. It's just the track just drops away from you, so the fronts want to lock up. Definitely an interesting corner.
Yeah, and of course if you catch that curb on the right hand side on the way in, it just unsettles the car so much and pushes you wide even further across that curb.
Yeah, you see quite a lot of lockups from the drivers coming into these corners quite aggressively. Yeah.
Here's tough because you're braking as you're turning, and that is something these cars just do not like to do, as you well know.
Ricky Royer in 12th.
Yeah, it's a good performance. Another strong start from Ricky. And Kevin West in the Kilowatt Tuning Mustang just in behind him. You can see Ricky's locked a brake there. Hopefully it hasn't compromised him too much. Second of the Kilowatt Tuning cars. Those two running line astern at the moment. A bit of a battle pack forming here.
Yeah, so Reinsberg in 14th in the default supercars, followed by Simon Hederscheid in 15th. Simon doing quite well during the series.
Yeah, Nash. We've got Bruce Tannock actually this time around. So he's currently sitting down in 16th spot. Just starting to eye up this pack in front of him. Aidan Lamont in 17th, sitting in behind him. Using plenty of curb there. You see Wayne using every little millimetre of track on the way out of there. As I said earlier, so easy to dip two tyres, and many car has been turned in practice just straight to the right hand side, put into that wall there. Peter Brown in the Grumpy Unicorn Mustang. Fantastic livery on that car.
Yeah, very nice. Very noticeable. Got Mitchell Sparrow coming through the pack there, starting at the back, so maybe not qualifying there, Greg.
Yeah, he's either had an issue in qualifying or he's just come in a bit late, but yeah, very unusual to see Mitchell down that end of the field. So look for him to be making a strong run up through the back half of the field here.
Yeah, it looks out like he's managed to miss all the tangle in the front in the beginning of the starting.
Darren Lobb still leading this race with Jamie Stovall in behind. A couple of your usual suspects there, but Kyle George and Matt Stevens not too far off the pace there either.
Darren using a huge amount of curb there. Surprising actually that don't get a slowdown, so the track allowance is quite reasonable over that section.
Yeah.
The suspension definitely gets a workout on this track. A lot of dips, and you can see it dips hard down here and just about sort of off camber up around that corner.
Yeah,
massive
these
sweeper
cars are
through
so
here.
raw. Yeah, I mean you've got no traction control, no ABS in these cars, but and obviously no split diff either. It's a lock diff, so that's why the wheels are just so keen to get away on you and start spinning. But at the same time, great suspension in these cars, so you can really smash those curbs, and they'll take a bit of a pounding before they get too unsettled.
You're good to see Kyle George giving a bit of go. He's been in race control, helping us out, and I think he's just getting a little bit too excited watching, and he wants to be back part of it just to see how those cobwebs are growing.
You see Braden O'Loughlin here, unfortunately, just down towards the back of the field after getting caught up in that incident right off the start line there. And that's James Isherwood getting all out of shape, and he's clattered the wall. I guess the only benefit of that is into pit lane entry being right there. He can tuck in and get that thing repaired nice and quick.
Bill Kilger sporting a bit of damage there, but continuing on. Scott Gill looking clean, 29th.
Tony Lynch, that car's looking pretty second hand at the moment, so he's
looks a bit drifty.
Obviously caught an incident. Yeah.
Carl Needler, 27th.
Yeah, these cars using all sorts of different lines through that last corner. It's really just a race to try and get that traction down out of there. The car wants to spin both through second and third gear and gets pretty loose over those bumps. Wayne Bloor in the DSA Mustang. He's got Craig Whiteman up ahead of him.
Craig, a little bit of damage on the side, but he's still going reasonable well. Leif Swinney in front of him in 23rd.
Blake Greenheld looks like he must have pitted there because that car's looking nice and clean after getting caught up in that incident on the first lap. And we've got Lance Childs up ahead of him. These guys sitting in 21st and 22nd position respectively. Steve Darren, always great to see the SDI car out there circulating. He's sitting in 20th position. He was right amongst that chaos early as well. Darren Hollob getting right up on that curb as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
as he makes his run down to the chicane on the back straight there.
Bit of the GoPro off the vest chest there. Interesting where you find the cameras.
Yeah. You can see him trying to get around this last corner, and you're really just dancing on that brake pedal trying to stop the thing from locking up into third gear, off the gas, and then onto that start finish straight, being careful not to dip two tyres into the grass on the right hand side.
Darren Lobb in the front again, showing his strength, continuity, nearly a second in front of Jamie Stolwood, not too far off the main pack. Got a good few guys back to 10th really.
Yeah, Jamie hanging on for all he's worth here. He doesn't want to see Darren drive off again. So he's doing his best to hang on in there. There's a stablemate, Mike Taliansich, down to 5th position in the 777 Holden Commodore. And James Anderson, last round's winner, tucked in behind him. So comfortable gaps for all of these front runners at this stage as they just find a rhythm, find their pace and work themselves into a bit of a groove here. And see who starts taking risks to get themselves back onto the back of the car in front to look at making a move.
Yeah, unlike some of the other tracks, lend themselves quite well to slipstreaming and getting good runs down the straights and good pass opportunities. This track may be just a bit too small for that kind of opportunity to arise. So passing is really relying on drivers to make mistakes and jumping on those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see just by how wide Anderson got there coming onto the back, the start-finish straight there. It really is a game of millimetres, so very easy to make a mistake on a track like this. But as you say, a surprisingly difficult track to pass, given you have got some good straights.
Diamond Heddershide in 14th currently.
Now, see Rensburg just lock up in front of him there. There's some really heavy braking points here. You see them just chirping away on the brakes, those brakes locking a little bit as they head into some of the corners. This is another one here that you can see the smoke billowing off the tyres there as those brakes are pinching. On board now with Heddershide, you can see he's had a bit of a tough run out of that corner, clattering through those curbs. He's just got that a little bit wrong there. You can see he's lost a couple of car lengths there to Rensburg in front of him. So we're looking to make amends for that. Rensburg hard on the back of Scully.
So how was your race? Obviously Rensburg keen to get up your ass there, Greg. How was your race for the night?
Yeah, it was tough. I'm not going to lie. I found this track pretty difficult. Very easy to make small mistakes and let the car behind you back into it, or let the car in front of you get away from you. So yeah, it was a bit of a tough one.
Yep.
But we're battling in there, mate. We'll never give up. We'll just keep on trucking. Wayne Van Biljon there in 17th, Aidan Lamont in 18th. Those two guys starting to fight out of position there as well. Aidan Lamont just sticking his nose down the inside there, but he's a little bit too far back. But Biljon keeping nice and tight into those three apexes we talked about earlier on that left-hand corner there, and getting a good run into the second part of this infield complex. Again, a great look at this really tricky back chicane. You see Van Biljon just pinching a brake on the way out of there, easy to do. We get a quick glimpse of Charlotte, the resident spider on the track here, as these cars just belt these curbs on the way through to the back part of the course here.
Yeah, just looking down the grid there, there's a few sort of close, not quite battles, but definitely a couple of opportunities there, but looks like most of the drivers are just keeping their places, probably just trying to keep their composure on this windy and technical track. It's definitely, I do find it quite fun, and it's quite rewarding when you get it right.
Yeah, definitely. Very much like Phillip Island, I think. Lots of undulation. We talked about the Alabama roller coaster earlier in the piece, and just where the track drops away on you into some of those, tough braking points. So lots of grass runoff, which at times can feel like it takes you days to get back on the track after using those. You can see Darren Lobb just dipping two wheels there. That's not going to hurt him too much, so long as he keeps that thing straight.
The Rensburg still chasing you down. Oh, and there, just talk about it.
Yep.
Because it's a position like you're really keen to go real fast through there. Rensburg right up on Scully. Pressure's on, isn't it? Oh, and he gets up on the inside.
Yeah,
is that a pass?
Wide under brakes there.
Does manage to get the pass in there, so again it's sort of just looking for the driver's mistakes and jumping on the opportunity when it arises. Got Heddershide keen to take advantage of the situation as well.
Yeah, one battle to the next. She's pretty unforgiving, mate. You're you're always in the thick of it here.
And that's the thing,
such tight competition.
You lose those positions, and your tyres might just be a little just extra slippery. and you're trying to gain composure back again, and then the next guy's up your ass trying to push through, but you got to sort of breathe and remain calm, because you just, you know, keen to get on the throttle, but you just can't be too keen, otherwise you'll be making another mistake. The nerves are true.
Yep, she can get pretty anxious in there at times, trying to hold position, or let alone make positions. You can see Simon Hedderscheid there just starting to make some ground onto the back of Scully. Mitch Sparrow up and behind him there, so he's made up
yeah,
a
not
good
too
few
far,
positions.
15th
He's got
now.
through a good half the field.
But basically, what,
from
35th to sort of 20th in no time, and now he's up into 15th spot.
Yeah, it's a great
Wayne
start
Van
for
Biljon,
Sparrow there.
Lamont in 17th. Bruce Tannock looks like he's keeping his composure tonight. 16th, Mitchell Sparrow, 15th as mentioned.
So Hedderscheid's got a move done on Scully there. Sparrow firing it up the inside
Sparrow
as
up
well.
on the inside, pretty keen to take position as well. Make sure, we are moving forwards, but it's just Scully moving backwards. I just thought we might have been
See Sparrow trying to make a move around the outside there. Hedderscheid doing well to cover him off over to the right hand side of the track. That'll give him the inside line as they head into the chicane. But Sparrow seems to be on a bit of a flyer here. It'll be interesting to see how fast he can get by Hedderscheid and continue holding that momentum as he moves up through the field. I love seeing these cars just get up and over those curbs there. It just looks so cool. Mike Taliansich in 5th position. He's just holding station, half a second back, or nearly a second back from Matt Stevens in front of him. James Anderson tucked up behind him as well. So they've got a bit of a train going, these guys. Nobody's sort of hot on the heels of anybody else. They're just holding station, trying not to make a mistake as they start to think about when their first pit stop's going to come.
Yeah, 28 laps in this race. We're into lap 13 or so. And should see some pit strategies come into place. Be interesting. Again, always pit strategies seem to be changing things up a bit. See what happens. Will Darren Loeb actually keep his composure there? Jamie Stolford definitely having some interesting pit entries.
Oh, you can see Kyle using a big chunk of that grass there, and just the car giving him a bit of a wiggle. That would have unsettled him a wee bit, but he's still right in on the back of Stolford there. These first three cars separated by less than a second across the three of them as they head into this tricky last turn. There's a back marker starting to get into lap traffic now as well, which adds another dimension to this race. You see the Frog Leap Racer just moving out the side there. That's it's very good of him, very sportsmanlike. We like to see that. So Lob continues his domination here at SDI's Supercars NZ, coming back in round 9 after round 8 off and leading us away. Mitchell Sparrow right on the back of Hedderscheid now. He's just diving up the inside. Is he going to get a move done here?
No,
Simon locking a brake, but it
hasn't
compromised
for now.
Oh, and Mitch Sparrow flashing his lights. He feels like he should be let through here, but Simon's going to have none of it. There's no reason for Simon to be letting him through.
Sideways.
Although he's got a big wiggle, yep. These cars super close together.
Looking for that inside chute, but doesn't quite get it. Trying to get the inside line there, but not quite. Right up the backside of Hedderscheid.
These guys battling is keeping Scully in the hunt and behind, so just hanging on in there. Sparrow getting a tough run through that chicane there. He's lost a couple of car lengths on Hedderscheid and let Scully close up and behind.
You can see there, Sparrow just looking around. He's just really
pretty good
keen to
view
get
from this
past him.
angle.
It's just squirming. Diamond doing a pretty good job to hold off Sparrow for the moment.
Yeah, he is. There's Matt Stevens-esque defending here. He's just putting the car in all the right places, not making too many mistakes. You see him lock a brake there. He's keeping the car tucked in nice and tight to that apex. Means that Sparrow's going to have to go around the long way, whichever corner he chooses to make his move. Hiddershire's not going to make it easy for him.
Covering the inside line coming up to this corner. Mitchell right on
Sparrow.
the outside.
Yep, he's looking for the long way around.
Side by side.
Is he able to hang around out in that dirty air? Yep, it's going to give him the inside run down into the chicane.
And there he goes.
Hiddershire's tucked in behind.
Done an excellent
So these guys
job.
battling has allowed
Clean
Scully
pass.
to close up in behind. And Tannock right in behind Scully now as well.
This week's sponsor is Short Shift Sim Racing magazine. Short Shift just come on to the party. The team is Billy Hickey, Devon Stove and Thomas Mitchell. These are from Australia, New Zealand, and are avid sim racers involved in various disciplines across the iRacing platform. So they're a digital magazine published in Australasia covering all the goings on in the iRacing world. So go check them out. See Mitchell Sparrow come into the pits there.
Yeah, he's overshot his pit box there as well. We see him have to pluck reverse and pull that thing back a little bit to be able to get that car up on the jacks. So that's going to cost him. He's had to work so bloody hard to get past Hiddershier. Here's hoping that doesn't cost him the position when he comes back out onto the track. We see Kevin West and Ricky Royer going at it hammer and tear. Great to see these two battling for 10th and 11th spot. And we've got Rensburg who's still hanging in there as well, tucked in behind them. So a nice little battle pack forming here as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the different pace from the different drivers, different tracks. Some drivers doing really well on certain tracks. Obviously, maybe just have driven the track more than others. Just the usual kind of put the time in, get the rewards. Ricky Roy is showing some great pace on other tracks. Reasonable pace on this Barber Motorsports track.
Yeah, Ricky's not a guy who shies away from hard work. I think I see him doing an awful lot of practice for these championship rounds. It's great to see. See Dion de Graaf in 8th spot, still up inside the top 10 there. And he's got Daniel Hiddershier just stalking onto the back of him now. Just a second back. Kilowatt tuning Mustang's looking pretty sharp out there. Hasn't got any big dents in the side, so it's been a nice clean race so far, so we'll take that. Bruce Tannock just closing in on the back of him. He's got a big scrape down the right hand side there. You see him just get a little bit loose out of that infield corner as he looks to get a move done here in the next lap or two. It's great to hear these cars backfiring when you're off the gas, eh? Sound amazing.
It looks like Bruce getting pretty excited on the loud pedal on the right foot.
Yeah, he's he doesn't look like he's pitted yet either, so he's 18 laps into this race, 10 to go. He'll be thinking about getting in if he hasn't already. It's a nice aerial shot of Matt Stevens. Got Mike Tillien sitting behind him. Good to see Mike back into Supercars NZ this round. And James Anderson not prepared to let him go. Up in front though, a few seconds up the road, we've got this battle forming for these first three positions. Jamie Stolbert has not let Darren Logg get away. He is right up on the back of him within 0.4 of a second. You see him close right up
there.
These guys making a run through that Chicane on the back straight. Lob dipping 2 wheels into the grass. He's done that a few times, hasn't seemed to hurt him. Just using every little bit of the track and some more here. Getting it turned in tight. We can see Lob in the hot lap at the beginning of this round, using 5th gear through here, which is an interesting choice. A lot of cars, most of the cars using 4th gear, dropping it back down to 3rd and then pinching 2nd to get this thing turned in. Stolver closing right up onto the back of him. He's got a good run out of that corner.
Lob
Lob
covers.
defending. He wants the inside line. Stover's going to hang it around the outside. He's just
Stolver wide. Kyle George just comes up on the inside. Just make some contact there.
You see just how hard it is to get a move done on this track. Jamie's just taken a wee look there around the outside, and by all accounts, you know, there's very nearly a move there to be had. A run for the lead. As we go back, wow, it's a great view from Kyle George's car. You can see Darren defending. Jamie decided to drop back. There's a little bit of contact. That's just pushed him wide. Kyle's seen the opportunity, just given him a little bit of a bump and run there. You see the car was just unsettled. Jamie struggling to get traction down onto the road. Kyle making the move work. So
Kyle actually giving Stolwood back the position. Just felt maybe it was a little unfair. I thought Stolwood was really probably the person that made the mistake there, but nice sportsmanship by George.
Yeah,
Then Stolwood back through.
Great to see. You talk to a lot of these drivers, they tell you they'd much rather finish 3rd, 4th or 5th and have a nice clean race than finish first in a flurry of contact. So as you say, great sportsmanship shown there by Kyle George. These 2 guys up in front of him, real championship contenders as well, so he'll be conscious of not interfering too much as he's dropped in for this round. The car's just starting to spread out a little bit there, so Darren Lobb taking the most of that opportunity. He's just eked that gap out to 7/10 over Stolvin now. Meanwhile, back in the pack, 4th position, Matt Stevens, under attack from Mike Taliansich. James Anderson in the box seat, getting a good view of this one.
Yeah, so James Anderson winning last round 8. Just sort of back in the pack, still up with the front runners, but doesn't look like he's in the game for the for a podium tonight. But still 8 laps to go. Anything can happen.
A lot of racing left to be had. Kevin West looks like he's just closed the gap a little bit on Royer here.
Yeah,
Both these cars look nice and clean through that roller coaster portion of the track, and it really is a roller coaster. You don't get a real feel for the undulation as you look at pictures from the outside here, but when you're in the car, you're going up and down, and you're so unsighted for a lot of that turn. West getting good drive out of that corner. Back to Kyle George though, he's closed right up onto the back of Stolvin again. So these guys still going at it, hammer and tongs.
Yeah, Kyle still be keen to pass. Just because he's let Stolwood back through into position doesn't mean he's going to pressure him and go for that second. See, the car's just, these are great shots, really able to see the car in front squirming.
Yeah, you can see the car just stepping out on Stolwood there, just pushing wide, so he's getting a lot of understeer through that corner. You see that's compromised him as he gets onto the front straight here.
George right up. They're going to take advantage. He's right up beside him. Comes through on the inside.
He's looking for the switchback.
Oh,
he's
there's
just
a
got
push.
his nose
There's
up
a
there.
contact.
Oh,
And
no.
Stolwood has turned.
That's unfortunate.
We'll just have to have a look back here. Go back to a replay and just check that out. Here we come. Stolwood on the outside.
George taking the wide line in and looking for the cutback. Stolwood's closed the door and George just collected the rear quarter there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the stewards have to say there. It's Jamie taking what I would consider to be the normal racing line there. But perhaps a little bit bullish, that move.
Yeah, just looking on the inside. It's quite interesting. Barber gets turned around but gets back into it reasonably quickly, but he has lost Stevens, Mike, Taliancic making opportunity there. Anderson still behind.
Yeah, so that's brought that second pack right up into play here. So what that's done inadvertently is given Darren Lobb 4 seconds on this the second pack.
Wow,
and as we've become accustomed to seeing in the last few rounds, Darren Lobb taking his opportunity, and he'll just be thinking, run away, putting as big a gap on these guys as he can.
There, well, you look at the train now, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, all lined up.
Kyle peeling off into the pits there, that's released Matt Stevens, who looked to be making good ground on him. These guys are electing the pit very late.
George has actually been handed a drive-through penalty for that last incident.
Yeah.
So he's making his way through pit lane. Going to push him back down the line.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. It was a pretty bullish move, a pretty tough one on Stolved. So he comes back onto the track now, having transited pit lane.
Yeah, losing 20 seconds there.
Darren Lobb, nearly 5 seconds over Matt Stevens and Mike Taliancic. Jamie Stolved, after coming together with Kyle George back in 4th position, he's still right on the back of Taliancic here. Stablemates these guys, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any team orders. For now though, Mike Taliancic hard on the back of Matt Stevens. James Anderson not far off this group either.
Yeah, this first season for 2021, it just seen some fantastic competition. Really great group of top 10 drivers, and just week to week we're just seeing these guys just be really close like this. Darren Lobb showing some superiority in the odd race and pulling away, but some races just some really great battles.
Yeah, Darren just losing 7/10 on that lap this time around, so he's just made a little mistake there somewhere in that last sector. But yeah, you did right, Dana. I was just about to say, how do we keep finding ourselves in these positions with half a dozen laps to go? This race is far from over, and the podium is far from being set.
Yeah,
Taliancic making a dive down the inside of Stevens.
Right up on the bumper cam behind.
Yeah, Stevens has been a master at defending this position for the last few rounds, so he'll be well accustomed to what he sees here, which is a big green track racer in his rear vision mirror. Oh, a little bit of a touch.
Definitely the pressure being put on there, past the back marker.
Yep, found him at a good spot on the track, so that was helpful to everyone there.
Like Stolved, maybe just sort of looking after his teammate in front there, not putting too much pressure on, just keeping, doesn't want to take them both out.
Yeah, Jamie's a competitor. He won't be content, I don't think, to sit back here and just let Mike lead on. He'll be hoping that Mike either puts a move on Matt Stevens here, and if he can't get it done, he'll be looking for a crack at him himself. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but at the moment these guys holding station. Matt Stevens doing a great job to defend that second position.
But 4 laps to go, 24th lap.
Here's Stolved up the inside of
Taliancic.
Taliancic. So he's decided he wants in. No, he's just had to back out of that one.
Mike just finding himself out on the outside, a bit slippery, but Stolved still unable to get the gains there. Anderson behind, probably quite keen to see some guys in front of him make some mistakes and jump on.
Yeah, it's a great battle in the closing stages of round 9 here at Barber Motorsport Park. It's what we love to see, but out front, Darren Lobb, 4.7 seconds over the rest of the field. Just making his way through lap traffic, just circulating, getting the laps under his belt as he gets closer and closer to that checkered flag.
past the start-finish line there. Lap 25. Few laps to go. 33 minutes into the race.
These guys will have a bead on by now. They'll be feeling the pressure. It will be hot work behind the wheel as they try and make a move to get themselves on that rostrum for this ninth round. 9th of 12. We're getting close to the end, Dana. Not many rounds left to go in this season.
Yeah, no, you're right there. A few drop rounds available to the competitors, so a little bit hard to figure out exactly what's happening in the championship until the rounds are over. I think you were saying James up the front at the moment. Yeah,
so just having a quick look, looks like James Anderson sitting up at the top of the tree as at this moment in time, but these guys are all just within a few points of each other, so they're all with a sniff with just 3 rounds left to go. So it's anyone's game, and that's why you're seeing such fierce fighting out on the track. Every position is important. Mike Robinson kind of in a world of his own at the moment. He's 4 seconds back from James Anderson. He's got 9 seconds back to Daniel Hederscheid, so he's just circulating, trying to keep things clean and just cement the 6th position. James Anderson, though, there's only 2 cars between him and a podium. If he can get a couple of moves done over the next couple of laps, then he's in with a sniff. See Mike Taliansich just drifting a little bit wide. There's a couple of lines through that corner, so although it's compromised his exit a little bit, it's not too bad as these guys brake hard into this back chicane. It's a little unsettling, but we've made it through safely. Carl Needler getting out the way there. Thanks, Carl.
Yeah, Matt Stevens again showing consistency through the championships.
Yeah, he's constantly been up the front, and Matt knows how to make this HGT Precision Mustang as wide as possible in these closing stages. We've seen it before, and we're seeing it again here tonight.
Yep, not in a rush to give his position away. Probably gets the Art of Blocking award.
He's a great defender. He gets the car in the right spots. He's very good at hugging those apexes and makes very few mistakes. And I think that's something you and I probably need to take stock of a wee bit, Dana. There's an art to it, and he's doing it very, very well.
Yeah, definitely. But Lob, just consistency tonight. No ultimate challenge. Stolberg there for a moment, but just found himself unstuck and getting caught up with Kyle George earlier.
Yeah, you can't help but feel we were a little bit robbed there because Stolberg was doing a great job of staying on the back of him, but nevertheless, this is a position that we find ourselves in with Taliansich hard on the back of Stevens. Stolberg looking for an opportunity. He's only 4 tenths off his teammate. James Anderson a second or so back from them. Kyle George, after serving his drive-through penalty, down in 9th spot, so he's still up inside the top 10. So we drift back through the field. Now we've got Lance Childs in 20th, Blake Greenhalgh in 19th position, Peter Brown in 18th, Wayne Van Biljon in 17th, Bruce Tannock in 16th position, and the old campaigner still in 15th. Aidan Lamont, 14th. Simon Hederscheid, 13th position. Kevin Weston, 12th. And hard on the back of this train of cars here. So there's a nice wee battle pack forming here. He's right on the back of Van Rensburg. Ricky Royer still holding staunch up the front there. That battle's been raging for laps and laps, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just just consistency there. No one making too many mistakes.
So we're on our last lap here as these guys come around the back part of the course, so they're on the back straight for the last time. Nobody looking particularly threatening here, so these guys look like they're going to hold station for this last complex of corners.
But there's our leader.
Yep.
Lob coming into the last section.
Coming through. A familiar sight, this.
And there he
Lob
goes.
takes the checkers.
Round 9 winner, Darren Lob. Congratulations. Fantastic
another great
run
drive
there.
From Lob. Matt Stevens held on for second position there. It's another good drive from Matt in his first round back after a week off last week. Mike Taliancic rounding out the podium in third position. Jamie Stoll would have felt a little bit hard done by there in fourth position. James Anderson, Mr. Consistency there in fifth. And Mike Robinson coming across for another good strong finish for him. Daniel Hedderscheid in seventh. And Dion de Graaf in eighth position. Good finish for the Speed Nation Mustang. Kyle George in ninth. I'm hoping that the race is done by the time that's happened. And Ricky Royer hanging in there to complete our top 10.
Oh, another fantastic race there, Greg. Some hard passing, some little bit of incidences, bit of an issue at the start line, but all the main races getting through to the end.
Yeah, it was good to see a nice clean race, which, you know, we talked about Barber Motorsport Park being one of those tough tracks to pass on, and we saw proof of that tonight here in round 9, but all the drivers doing a great job of keeping it clean for the largest part, and yeah, another good round. SDI Supercars NZ marches on, so round 10 next week. Whereabouts are we going, Dana?
I don't know. What track have you been practicing?
Oran Park? Is it Oran Park?
Could be.
I think it is. Oran Park, yeah. So it's a tight, twisty one. We go from some decent straights and some nice flowing corners and wide open pushes to Oran Park, where she's narrow, she's twisty, she's windy, and it's going to be an absolute ding-dong battle there. So join us, round 10, SDI Supercars NZ. Always great to have you with us.
Awesome to have you, Greg. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks to Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine. Thanks to SDI Supercars. See you next week.
See ya.